in party mode.
He watched the captain's toss the coin a short time ago, and he's
well, all we're waiting now is for the arrival of the teams onto the pitch. The two sides have only played once, and that was at the '99 World Cup. And on that occasion, Scotland ran out winners by 49 points to 7. This year, the Scottish side have had an indifferent year. They've won only 3 of their internationals, the wins over Wales and twice against Italy. Japan have played 6 matches and lost 5. Their win was over Korea. Losses to the USA, Russia, Australia A, and in England 15. So this is a terrific crowd, Dan. It's really built magnificently in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
And it's amazing to see that it doesn't matter where the people are from, how the Australian people have soaked this atmosphere. We've got half of them going for the Scottish, half of them going for the Japanese. They've got no connection birthright-wise at all, but they just want to get behind a team and yell the roof off to make sure that they have a great night here tonight.
Scottish flag flies high, and I'm sure that the Scottish fans will be in wonderful voice when that great rugby hymn, The Flower of Scotland, is sung a little later on, the rugby anthem of the Scots. So Townsville about to get its first taste of World Cup rugby. And this is the moment they've been waiting for as Ryan Redpath and Takuro Mayuchi lead the teams out on the field. And the crowd erupts as both teams make their way onto the Dairy Farmers Stadium. It's Japan up against Scotland. And it's a beautiful night in Townsville. There's the captain, Mayuchi, selected as captain in 2002. Tonight playing in his 12th international, made his debut against Russia. Ryan Redpath, the glue that keeps and binds the Scottish team together. He made his debut right back in 1993 against the All Blacks and playing in his 3rd Rugby World Cup. In number 13 there, Ruben Parkinson, the New Zealand-born centre, the Tana Umaga lookalike. And he will cause some problems to the very powerful centre combination of Andy Craig and James McLaren in the Scottish lineup. Well, the Japanese team, Matsuda, Ohata, Parkinson, Motoki, Onizawa, Hirose, Tsuji, Ito, Mayuchi, Okubo, Parker, Kiso, Toyoyama, Amino, and Shin Hasegawa, the loose head prop. And the Scottish side, it's a very experienced lineup. The Australian-born Ben Hinchelwood will be at fullback. The three-quarters of Patterson, Craig, McLaren, also a player that's had experience in Australia. Logan, Ross, Redpath, Simon Taylor, watch him, the number 8. Petrie, White, the back rowers. Grimes and Murray, the experience in the locks. In the front row of Douglas, Tom Smith and Robert Russell, who formerly played with Souths in Brisbane, tonight playing in his 15th international. We will now observe a silence on the 1-year anniversary of the loss of the 88 lives of the Australians in the Bali disaster.
Rugby World Cup invites you to join us in a moment's silence in memory of the victims of the Bali bombing, which occurred on this day 1 year ago. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the World Choir will now perform the national anthem of Japan and the national song of Scotland.
It's performed by Nahoko Doi and Marahashi Kishimoto. rendition of Kimi Gayo, the Japanese national anthem. The words, "May the Emperor live 10,000 years or more," and beautifully sung by our national choirs. And now the Flower of Scotland from Elisa Lynch and Jonathan Moore. One of the great stirring renditions of the Flower of Scotland. And both these sides will take in experience on the bench into this very important game, their opening game of Pool B. The Scottish side, of course, Gordon Bullock, the most capped hooker of all time, Beattie, Leslie Blair, Gregor Townsend, well known to world rugby fans, Yamamoto, Sakata, Tanuma, Watanabe, Sonoda, the New Zealand-born Miller, and Kuri Hara. So the stage is set. And Townsville about to host its very first Rugby International. It's from Pool B. And Tim, great expectation. The feeling down there on the sideline?
Yeah, it's a very cool night here. It's good conditions for rugby. It's a very firm pitch. I'm looking forward to seeing this Japanese side hopefully break out. They've got a fantastic back three. And Ruben Parkinson in the centre as well. He'll be rushing out of the defensive line, looking to make some tackles. But I think both sides just keen to get underway for their first match in World Cup 2003.
Well, the Scottish side have been quarter-finalists at 87, the 95 and 99 Rugby World Cup semi-finalists, losing to England in the semi by 9-6 in 1991. And Japan, well, they've never gone past the pool. Their only win was against Zimbabwe in 91. And the man in charge today is Stuart Dickinson of Australia, the 35-year-old. His first major appointment was Wales versus South Africa at Wembley in 1998. Tonight he referees his 22nd international. And the man with the ball in his hand is the young fly half, the 25-year-old Gordon Ross, who is about to get this game underway for Scotland. So the formalities are over. And we're now waiting for Stuart Dickinson to sound time on in the first half. And it will be Scotland in their all-blue strip to defend the southern end of the ground. First touch of the ball for Shin Hasegawa, the big loose head prop. They secure the ball. Out to Hiroshi. They move it wide, out through Motoki. Taken solid defence in midfield. And it's been lost forward by Japan. So the first turnover gives Scotland a terrific opportunity to attack in the opening minutes of this first half. So the line you can see in the background is the Japanese 22.
Engage!
And the penalty.
Side here and there, binding first.
Incorrect bind for the Japanese.
Binding.
And Masao Amino looks bemused, the hooker for Japan.
Isn't it interesting? Every forward pack around the world, doesn't matter where they're from, they come up and they always question the referee when they've been penalised. It's going to be a hard night for the Japanese.
So that penalty has given Chris Patterson a chance to post first points for the Scots. The 25-year-old from Edinburgh, tonight playing in his 36th international. Made his debut at the 99 Rugby World Cup against Spain. And in that scored a 20-point haul against Wales. This to post 150 points for Patterson in Test rugby. And he's pulled it to the left. So an early sigh of relief for the Japanese. They could have gone down by 3-0 early in this first half.
Was a very tentative strike there by Patterson. Didn't follow through.
Okay,
Early nerves.
Let's go now, let's go. Well, stay there too, Blue. Don't cross over.
So Hirose gets the ball underway again. It's been reclaimed by Japan. That's a terrific start for the restart. And good hands by Ross. A chance now for the big number 8, Simon Taylor. He's a wonderful runner of the ball. He's a great athlete. But look at the determination of this Japanese defence. Redpath goes short side. And the big Jason White takes it to the 10-metre line. Scotland look impressive. Now it's in midfield. The centre three-quarter, James McLaren.
Hands away!
Played a little bit of his junior rugby in Australia at the tender age and then came back and played some rugby league with the Canberra Raiders. He'll wear 12 for Scotland tonight. Redpath out for Ross. Moving the ball out wide again for Craig. And in turn for Hinselwood, the fullback. Now again, good phase play by Scotland. Equally good defence by Japan. Now again, Taylor. He's really going to be a handful. Back it goes to the big lock in Stuart Grimes. Scotland have come to play. Redpath searching on the short side. That's Patterson on the quarter line.
Scotland need to stay patient here. Keep building the phases. They're up to their 8th phase now.
Now Ross. Again for the big centre, McLaren. The two powerful centres in midfield for Scotland. Now it goes Ross again. Now the big lock's running out there and Scott Murray. Terrific phase play by Scotland. Really putting pressure on Japan. Now they go short side again. This Japanese defence is stretched. Redpath skirts short side again. And they're probing this Japanese defence. At the moment it stood firm. Now Ross. Cut out pass. Poor execution. Japan, great reward for some great defence. Chance now, Patterson. Well, they hung on for so long. But finally, Chris Patterson scores the first try for Scotland in this Rugby World Cup 2003. The end is 13 of 14 phases. They've struck first blood. They lead by 5 points to 0.
The Japanese manfully, man for man, putting on the pressure, trying to hold. It's like finger in the dike stuff there. Scottish kept ramming and ramming, using their big men on one side and also the other of the park, spreading it wide, but the cracks had to come. Initially it looked like the Japanese had broken through the onslaught, but then gave the ball back easily. Play a little bit suspiciously let go by the referee Stuart Dickinson, but in the end it was Patterson who pounced on the ball and was given the rewards.
Yeah, I think the Japanese players were just sitting back waiting for the decision of the knock-on from the Scotland players, but Stuart Dickinson, rightfully so, letting the play go on. And Chris Patterson getting his 11th Test try.
Patterson converts his own try for a 7-0 lead to Scotland over Japan.
Scotland 7, Japan 0.
So they hung on bravely, Japan. In the end, it was just too much pressure mounted by the Scots, and you can be assured that pressure will continue. Some marvellous running back row forwards of the Scottish team. I've heard so much about Simon Taylor.
Got to get to your feet,
but
please.
he looks the goods.
Up on your feet.
He was injured on the Lions tour, Dan, but it's great to see him back here running as well as he is.
But the size of the Scottish players, it's unusual for Scotland to have such big, fit, athletic men. The penalty, hands in the ruck, silly move right in front of the referee, desperation by Japan.
Not just their forwards. I'm just looking at the likes of Andy Craig and James McLaren in the centres. They're huge, man.
Across the board, they would be the biggest Scottish team that I have seen in a long, long time.
And then the second row, Grimes and Murray. Murray, of course, partnering Grimes. Grimes taking over the shadow of Doddy Weir, one of the great locks of Scottish rugby. Now they march it forward to the halfway line. The power, the precision of this Scottish side. It's going to be a tough night in Townsville for Japan, I can tell you. Now Ross again, away from McLaren. Gee, terrific defence by Parkinson. Redpath, Ross, pass in front. Referee playing advantage. It's not forthcoming to Japan, so they'll get the put into the scrum just inside Scottish territory.
Lovely defence by Japan. Ruben Parkinson moving up, getting in the face of the Scottish attacking players. Scotland need to be patient and keep their depth in the backs as we see the pass go forward. Japan now have a great attacking opportunity on the halfway line.
But this is what the Japanese have to do tonight. They have to be tenacious. They just have to be into everything possible.
Look at the physicality, the difference in the two packs of forwards. From the back goes Ito. Hirose knocked it forward. This is being advantage played to Scotland. And now they'll get the put into the scrum. But it's just interesting as we watch the two packs here as they line up, Dan. There's just no comparison in size.
I know, and size and or experience. But what the Japanese are trying to do at the moment is come as close as possible to the Scottish so that they can nullify the hit.
Out of it, advantage. Good playing advantage.
Now Ross angles it away, kicking right into the breeze. You heard Stuart Dickinson say the advantage is over. So Japan will get the throw to the line out on the far side.
And that's a good call by Dickinson there. The 5'8" had heard, Ross had heard the actual call that there was advantage and he was playing it. He decided to kick it thinking he was going to get the penalty, but it was called by Dickinson to play on. They can't just misuse the advantage.
Blue two, take them down. Thank you.
So the number 6 there is Jason White, who plays with Sale.
You're pushing it, mate. You're all over it. Don't touch it.
Penalty going against Scotland for interference in the line-out. Dickinson very clear with his calls.
Offside at the last scrum. Stay behind the ball. Behind the ball, you came offside.
Interestingly enough, why the Scottish would be even trying to interfere with them at this stage of the game. They've got the tall timber right across the paddock to be able to go against the Japanese. Great kick into touch.
Now this is where Japan need the ball. They need to create some faces against Scotland and make them make tackles.
Well, they've secured the ball for the line out, but it's untidy. That's a little halfback in the headgear, Suji. Ito coming into the back, the number 8, the balling head, cleaned out. Now they go short side. The advantage being played, a high tackle from one of the Scots. Hirose out for Parkinson. And Tim mentioned that he's a Tana Rumanga lookalike. Now here's the little kick and chase. But it beats the Japanese winger Onozawa into touch. In fact, it's Daisuke Ohata. With the strike rate, any test winger would be proud of. He scored 40 tries in 36 test matches. But 8 of those were against Chinese Taipei.
Sounded like a tough day at the office, that one.
Now Redpath in putting the ball beautifully in front of Ross, and that's allowing the big men in midfield to crash. They're really getting across that advantage line. That time they didn't. A rolling ball by Scotland. It's come out. It's a turnover ball. That's the captain in Mayuchi. Now a chance for Ohata. And these Japanese fans know this fellow is a flyer. Onozawa on the other wing is quick as well.
It's come forward off the number 9 red.
The 26-year-old halfback from NEC, Suji, is having not a very pleasant time out there tonight at the back of this Japanese forward pack.
I won't tell you again, mate. Once you go straight. Start straight.
Excellent work in that phase of play by Robbie Russell, the number 2 for Scotland, getting in over the ball, keeping his feet.
Just crouch and hold there.
Now, short arm free kick. Logan comes in from the wing, a man that made his debut here in Australia in 1992 as a replacement for Gavin Hastings in the test match against the Wallabies at Ballymore. Now Ross turns it back inside to Craig.
No hands!
Now it goes out to John Petrie. Now, as Dan said, the athleticism of the Scottish side is just a revelation.
But at the moment they're going one out, and that's costing them.
And a chance now for Japan. Onizawa. Look at him go. Finally dragged down. And once again at the breakdown, they lose control of the ball. But both these wingers with ball in hand will cause headaches for the Scottish defence.
He's lost control on the other side.
Well, Onizawa from Suntory Club in Japan, one of the best clubs in Japanese rugby. He is a flyer. He's nicknamed the Rubber Man.
Now, Scotland could well attack from inside their own quarter here. Ross. Now, Matsuda will counter-attack. You'll rarely see him kick the football. This time he will. He loves to counter-attack and link up with Onizawa and Ohata. He's got the breeze in his back, and so he drove it forward. Now it's back for Hirose. He puts it high. Drags the Scots out of their quarter. It's bounced beautifully. And taken Petrie and taken in the tackle. Coming in was Ito. It's Cummings offside, surely, and a penalty. A penalty to Japan. Obvious offside there by the Scottish back rower.
You can hear the crowd there. You can tell who the Townsville favourites are here tonight.
There's Takeyomo Ito, 32-year-old, 48th cap tonight for Japan. One of the real experienced players in this Japanese pack. A real Japanese warrior. $7-0 in favour of Scotland.
Well, we've seen Scotland trying to attack out of their 22 into this stiff breeze, not willing to kick for touch too much, but they really must keep their concentration. A lack of communication there, letting the ball bounce.
Go.
So Hirose,
Off you go.
as we see one of the players in the blood bin, going to the blood bin. I think it might be
No, we can't have an on, guys.
Okubo.
Coming on.
and Keiji Hirose, averaging 10 points a game for Japan. 365 points he scored in Test rugby, now in his third World Cup. And it's form like that that has seen that tally go to 365 points in Test rugby. 7 points to 3. Scotland lead Japan.
The Japanese have got to make sure at this stage that every time they go into the tackle, they have 2 or 3 supporters with them. They've got to make sure that they're proactive, not reactive.
Well, flying high was Adam Parker, the Kiwi-born in this Japanese side.
Off your hands.
But as the ball bounced, it was knocked forward by Scotland.
Just crouch and hold. Engage.
So Japan still hard on defence. Hirose,
Wait, red 5.
angle towards touch. That's a great touch finder. The breeze right in his back and coming left to right across the Dairy Farmers Stadium. And he used it beautifully.
Lovely kick. Need to play Scotland in their territory, especially with this breeze tonight. Sitting on the sideline, it probably feels like it's about a 10 to 12 point breeze. So the Japanese side need to stay in the Scottish territory and score points.
So Robert Russell, the Australian-born hooker in the Scottish team, born in Brisbane, but his grandfather was Scottish. Made his debut in 1999 against Romania.
And all his family here tonight from outside of Charters Towers. They have a cattle property about probably half the size of Tasmania.
Well, that's where he grew up, on that cattle farm in Charters Towers there. Hirose. Great run up, straight up the field by Ruben Parkinson. Quickly to the breakdown of the Japanese. Oof. Tell you what, they don't lack any spirit.
Stay there, last week, take a step back.
An attempted drop goal with the breeze, but it's gone wide. Gee.
Good attempt, though, with the breeze at his back.
But what he is doing is he's keeping the Scottish pinned down in their own 22. Smart play, try and drain the energy out of them.
Hero say he knows they must score points.
Stay there, red 2.
So Gordon Ross plays with Leeds in the British competition. Now, dispossessed by O'Hara. And a chance now for Scotland, Ken Logan. The ball's been knocked forward.
Yeah, you had it. You had it.
Stuart Dickinson playing the Scottish have asking for the advantage.
Things you can do with it. I can't be responsible for a bad pass. It was fine.
Big tackle by Jason White, mountain of a man.
Very impressed with the advantage that Stuart Dickinson's playing. Good communication from the Australian referee. Now they've turned over the put into the scrum, going through the 90.
Big push by Tom Smith, the loose head for Scotland, bringing it up on the left-hand side, wheeling the Japanese around.
No.
Because they didn't get the ball out and the scrum was wheeled round at 180. It was a turnover in possession.
Now they move it through Taylor. Gee, that's good defence by the Japanese. The clean out. Ghosting down the side is Stuart Grimes. Fantastic try. They just caught the napping. It was great vision by Redpath. And big Stuart Grimes goes in for his first try in Test rugby.
Didn't Grimes show a clean pair of heels there? The try line just opened up for him. The big fella, 25 metres out. He saw it and he wasn't going to let it go. Quick tap from the infringement. Hands nice and easy. A burst by Taylor. Clean out and the short little pass by Redpath to Grimes on the burst. He won't get them much easier than that one.
I think the important part of that try is the clean out that made the ball available for Brian Redpath. And a lovely try.
And he's elated.
I wonder how long that try will get when Stuart Grimes retires. It'll be 70 metres.
It'll be 70 metres by tonight.
So Patterson with the chance to convert the Grimes try. He converted his own in the 4th minute. He missed an earlier penalty goal. And this from just a couple of metres in from touch. And he's pushed it wide. So no change to the scoreline here in Townsville.
Scotland 12, Japan 3.
Back for the restart. Ball hoisted high with the breeze at its back. Now, the try scorer Grimes takes it forward. That's the 22-metre line. You can see Redpath. And a good performance by the Scots here at Rugby World Cup 2003 would be a great reward for Ian McGeechan, their long-serving coach, one of the game's all-time great mentors, who calls it a day. That's a dreadful kick from the captain. But they're competing for it. Yes, McGeechan hands over to the Australian Matt Williams at the end of the World Cup. And Matt, of course, is here in the crowd today watching this match between Japan and Scotland. But McGeechan at Scottish level and with the British Lions is just a household name in world rugby, with a very proud record of about 18 years of coaching.
Well, the Scottish wouldn't have been happy with that kick, but they've got an overwhelming possession so far. Scotland 67% of the ball, Japan 33.
Halfway mark, first half, Scotland 2 tries to 0. They lead by 12-3.
Japan must build some phases now. They must have the ball.
Well, they really are struggling to compete in these lineouts. That's the captain, Miyuchi. Suji, Horose. Cut out pass. Great defence in midfield again by the Scots. Well, they just can't build phase, can they?
Travelled forward into your own man.
No, I think they're standing flat,
into their own man,
and the Scottish defences on their toes, moving forward. the Scottish defensive coach, ex-Samoan Pat Lamb.
No ball, stay up.
He'd be telling these players to move up quick and take the Japanese players before they can gain momentum.
Stand up. Stand up. Just crouch and hold. Engage.
The scrum 12 metres inside Scottish territory.
Staying on.
Redpath goes short side for Ross. Matsuda. Just short of halfway. And they've got turnover ball. Now can they build some phases? McLaren in there with some terrific defence. Comes out to Suji. Horose angling towards this corner. And offside, the advantage was being played. Well, this is well in kicking distance for Hirose, the fly half of Japan.
As was mentioned by Tim earlier, the Japanese, what they've just done there is hold on to the ball, build some phases, and things will start to happen. If they don't build phases, they can't expect it to happen.
And you can see that the Scottish players came well up offside, and the arm was out from Stuart Dickinson calling the advantage. And so that was the reason for the penalty. And now Hirose of the Toyota Club in Japan made his debut back in 1994. He once kicked 9 consecutive goals against Tonga, and that joined the record of the most prolific point scorer in world rugby, Neil Jenkins of Wales, and the great former
30 seconds left.
All Black fly half Andrew Mertens. So he's a player that can strike the football, and maybe this goal kicking of his can keep Japan in this game in this first half. This to make it 12-6. Gee, that's a beautiful strike. That's a magnificent strike from Hirose. 12-6 in favour of Scotland.
Penalty kick successful by number 10 for Japan, Keiji Hirose. Japan 12.
Once again, we see Scotland splitting their defence, splitting their attack for the kick-off. Half the forwards on the left and half on the right.
Well, that ball bounced inside the touchline. So it will be a Japanese throw, 25 metres out to their own goal line. And the nuggety little hooker, Masao Amino, who turns 29 in a couple of days' time. Tonight playing in his third international. Too much deliberation there. He must throw the ball in. Short arm free kick to Scotland.
And this is where the Japanese must make their tackles. So far they've missed 8 to Scotland's only 4. They must keep moving up in defence.
And this is the man that's going to cause them nightmares, Simon Taylor. And also the number 4, Scott Murray. Grimes has already scored 1 try, the big lock. Chance now for Scotland. Ross turning it back in. Scrappy play by Scotland, picked up by Bruce Douglas, the tight head prop of Scotland. They march it towards the 22, they've been dispossessed again. And Ohata, Monozawa on that far side. Now a chance to move it out. Ohata's on this right-hand side. Terrific defence on Parkinson. And that came in the form of James McLaren. Now they want it down that end of the ground. From inside his own 22, not a great territory gain by Hinselwood.
Right idea by Mutuki. He made sure the kick went long so that the Scottish Hinshelwood had to put the kick out, so the Japanese side now have the throw to the line out. A short line out with attacking opportunities.
Talking about Motoki, what a great record. 33 years of age, playing in his 4th World Cup. His debut was back in 1991 when he made his debut against the United States. Now they try to crash through midfield again. They work short side again. Hirose, well read by the Scottish defence. Now the turnover ball. They work it to within 10 metres of halfway. Now the pick and drive by Scotland. This can be damaging to the Japanese defence.
Roll away, no hands.
Ball is out and away they go forward again.
Isolated. That's what he was. He was isolated. Went one off.
Stand above him. Had a couple of goes. You're isolated.
Good work by the tight head prop Toyama. Over the top, kept his balance, held onto the ball, used the support of his players over behind him. See there, Toyama, he's still got on his feet. He's allowed to keep trying to get the ball. And the Scottish just would not let that go. Good call, Stuart Dickinson.
Well, he's only 178 centimetres, but he weighs in well over 100 kilos. Toyama showed his great strength on that occasion. And now Hirose, this prolific point scorer
13 to go, Dana.
from Japan. You might see where he draws the line in the sand in front of his mound, giving him the perfect line for him to his follow through. Goes through a real ritual. It never varies. Consistency. This time he's pushed it wide. So no change to the score. 12-6 in favour of Scotland. And about 12 and a half minutes of play remain in this first half. Now Motoki. Matsuda. Spiralling torpedo. And that was beautifully placed. Finally, play comes up within about 8 metres of the halfway line.
Scotland, I think, really have to probably rethink the next 12 minutes before half-time. Running into this breeze, they must start attacking with the ball they're receiving from the Japanese kickers.
Well, giving such a disadvantage in size and weight and total physicality, this Japanese side have hung in very, very well. Oh, great ball. Ito. Now they arrive at numbers Japan. They're coming in this right-hand side. Hirose. Finally, the lock forward not didn't touch. Adam Parker coming down this right-hand side. But the crowd warmed to that. The chance of Daisuke Ohana to get his hands on the ball. Currently playing with Montferrand, but this is great movement.
Lovely ball. Akobu going through the... right through the middle. Ito, sorry, it was. Lovely break.
Now, Scotland pinned down on their own goal line. Remembering there's a strong breeze at the back of Japan. So they'll roll it. They'll want to get it up towards the 22 and then try and drive it into touch. Look at the tenacious Japanese trying to stop this rolling ball of Scotland. Finally, there's a hand in there. Ito says, sir, no, but he can tell you there was hands in there and they've been penalised.
Ito frustrated after all the good work the Japanese have done. They've been putting the screws on Scotland, and a simple error that shouldn't have been had, hands in the ruck, will relieve the pressure for the Scots.
And that kick will take play up towards halfway.
Wasn't that a well-worked move off the previous line-out from Japan? Great to see them stretching the Scottish defence. And it makes the players, especially when you spread them wide, make decisions. And they didn't make the right one there in the Scottish defence.
Untidy ball. Knockback, says the referee. A little bit of doubt about that call from Stuart Dickinson. I thought it had gone forward. Redpath. Ross turning it back in. A little bit of indecision now in this Scottish side at the moment. They look so impressive in their decision-making earlier in this match. Now it goes out for the experienced Ken Logan. He tries to bump away Ohana. He'll have nothing of that. Now Patterson scored the opening try. Is this a scoring double for Patterson? It will be. He unloads it. It's been knocked down. Knocked on by Japan. Advantage being played by Scotland. Ross.
Well, Patterson had 3 players with him, 2 on his left, 1 on his right, and went on his own.
Now the little kick in behind the defence. A collision with two of the players. Ball goes dead in goal.
No, bad decision, Chris Patterson. Needed to have a look. As James McLaren put that kick through. Here we see Patterson slicing through. Thought he was over, stepped off his left, but needed to look now as the pass went astray.
And just the knock-on rule there against the Japanese. Not a deliberate knockdown, which could have yielded a penalty to Scotland. Now Taylor. Looks very impressive, the big number 8. He's been very, very involved. Now Japan offside. They're going to be very lucky here if they don't have people put in the bin for this deliberate offside that they're employing at the moment. It's a team under pressure in defence.
Big question, will Scotland go for the points? I think they should, and they are. They've got to take the points at the moment and get some continuity back in their play. The Japanese have rattled them in the last 15 minutes.
12 points to 6 in favour of Scotland. Patterson missed with his previous penalty attempt and also with one of his conversions. But this time he's on song. And Scotland increased the lead with 8 minutes of play remaining to half-time by 15 points to 6 here in Townsville.
It's important in this last 7.5 minutes of this half that the Japanese don't concede any more points. That they get back to what they were doing before. Hands on the ball. Keep the ball away from the Scottish, and they're starting to rattle them.
Thank you.
Long restart by Japan. Taylor. Solid defence by the Japanese. Committed at the breakdown. Now they're calling them out to defend in this back line as Ross goes to the right-hand side. And he's quite content to drive play up beyond the halfway line. A good strike into this strong breeze from the Leeds fly half.
It was a good kick by Gordon Ross. He's been working very hard with Michael Burns, who was the kicking coach for the Wallabies in the '99 World Cup.
So that's the halfway line you can see. Manhandled at the back by the Scottish defence. Turnover ball for the Scots. Ross just turning it back around, driving it down inside the 22. Oh, Onozawa tackled right on the 22.
Don't touch it, boy, don't touch it. Get back, please, 3 blue.
Great communication from the Australian referee here tonight, and Stuart Dickinson. Very clear and concise in his calls. And that kick from Hirose takes play midway between the half and the 22 at Japanese end of the ground.
And this is where Scotland have to build some pressure. Not long before half-time. They don't want to be getting into the sheds and hearing their coach, Ian McGeechan, saying they didn't convert the pressure they had in that first 40 minutes.
Here, as part of the Scottish media, two of the greats of Scottish rugby, David Soul working with former England scrum half in Nigel Starmer-Smith, and great to see Gavin Hastings here as well. Tim, one of the greats of Scottish rugby and international rugby.
Great to see Mr. Hastings here. Saw him walking around town this afternoon, the highest point scorer in World Cup.
Now, 10-metre line, Japanese end of the ground. And this kick out on the fall. So play will come back to 10 metres short of the halfway line. And this will lead up valuable time before the half-time break for Japan.
Well, I think that's a poor decision there by James McLaren. He's disappointed. He knows it just went out by about a foot. But Scotland need to attack. They're running into the breeze. They need to build some momentum and some pressure.
They appear to be changing their tactics of trying to kick the ball because the defence of Japan is just so rock solid.
They just don't look confident at the moment, Dan. I think the first 5 minutes they did, and I think they've gone off the ball a little bit.
Hirose Mutoki. Oh, great break up midfield. Look at the pace of Parkinson. Takes play over the 10-metre line. They still go. A chance on the left-hand side. Look at the pace. Oh, great cover defence. Takes Onozawa into touch. Was that Kenny Logan coming from the far side? What a brilliant cover defending tackle as the fleet-footed Hirotoki Onozawa was try-bound.
That's what the Japanese need to do. Play direct, get in behind the Scottish defence and then use their paceman. Onizawa, one of the quickest players in Japanese rugby, but was swamped by the Scottish defence.
Try-saving tackle. Double teaming by the Scots. Now Taylor. And once again that committed defence of Japan. They will not give up. And here's a chance again. The man they call the rubber man. And that was great work that time by Adam Parker to latch onto his Japanese teammate and kept the momentum going forward. Now they move it wide again. Motoki. Here's a great place for Masuda. Terrific defence by Hitchwood. Gee, that was another try saver. He has not released. But all of a sudden, the Japanese side have come to light, and it took a splendid tackle by the Australian-born Hinterwood to stop a great Japanese try.
Oh, there was a try begging to. 2-on-1. Lovely work by the Japanese backs. Standing wide, you can see the Scottish defence trying to drift. Kenny Logan wasn't quite sure to go inside or outside and make the tackle. And a lovely work by Hinchelwood at the end, try saver.
No, he's okay.
What a great tackle. Well, both these wingers, Ohata and Onozawa, have served notice to the Scottish defence that they can play this game.
Space is what they need.
15-6 to Scotland. So, a line-out to take place. This great back line has had another bit of the influence, the Japanese side. Mark Ella has had a terrific influence on this side, and you can see a little bit of the Ella magic that was in that backline movement from the Japanese on that occasion. And Mark Bell, the former Wallaby hooker, has had some work to do with this forward pack.
It looks like Mark Bell could actually go out there and play himself. Looks in pretty good shape.
Redpath darts. Ito was there to meet him. Now they still go in this little channel. Well, this one-out stuff. It's a sign of respect for this Japanese defence. And they can't get past that advantage line. Time ticking away in the first half. And if they can go in at 15-6, they'll be pretty happy, the Japanese side. They're just trying to wear them down. That the brute strength and size will finally make its toll on this Japanese side. And the crowd love that because it's turnover ball, it's a penalty. And Grimes was the man that went straight over the top and didn't stay on his feet. So all that hard work by Scotland has been negated with the penalty. And I would say that Hirose will probably have another shot for goal.
Well, the Scottish forwards pick and drive. Brian Redpath going again, really playing into the hands of the Japanese side. That's where they're strong, that's where their strength is. Either side of the ruck, what they call their bodyguards that look after the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the ruck are very strong.
Well, this will be a testing kick for Hirose. He's going to be kicking with the slight assistance of a breeze, but it will be hurting from the left. Coming over his left shoulder, pushing away towards this right-hand corner. So he will really have to strike this ball beautifully.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long, long time in Japanese colours. Kieji Hirose. It's going to fall short, but only just short. It was a very good strike. But just out of the range with that breeze. And so at half-time, we have Scotland leading Japan in Pool B of Rugby World Cup 2003 by 15 points to 6. Tries of the opening 17 minutes, but they haven't crossed the Japanese try line since. And in the meantime, 2 penalty goals by Keiji Hirose has brought the Japanese side right back in this game at half-time, trailing by just 9 points by 15 points to 6. But they will be running into a very, very strong breeze in the second half. But the Japanese fans have had a lot to cheer about. Go Japan, the signs say. And go did Ohata and Onizawa on 2 or 3 occasions in that first half. So the capacity here of around about 31,000, I'd say maybe 25,000 in here tonight. It's a beautiful night in Townsville, and the team's just making their way back onto the Dairy Farmers Stadium. Scotland, the first team back out. It appears to be no changes to their side in the second half. And Brian Redpath there, the Scottish captain. He'll be barking at the heels of this big Scottish pack in the second half with the breeze behind them. And as Japan come out, they were really committed in the first half. They are the crowd favourite here, undoubtedly. And I mentioned many times during the telecast in the first half how much size they give away, but their heart and their speed and their pace and their commitment has kept them right in touch at 15-6 down at half-time. But they really do have a real job on their hands in the second half, because I'm sure that the power and strength of the Scottish side will make their mark ultimately. There's Big Grimes, the try scorer, one of the 2 tries. Patterson scored the first in the 4th minute, Grimes in the 17th. And Patterson converted one of those tries and kicked a penalty goal and forced the Japanese side. Their points have come through the right boot of their fly half, Hirose. So the bonding there in the Japanese team. Your impressions, Dan?
Possession-wise, 67% to the Scottish, but interestingly enough, they're both 2 minutes 30 each in opposition time in each. So the Japanese, even though they haven't had much of the ball, have been down in that 22 zone. Because of this wind, I think you'll see it vastly different. The Scottish, they'll be trying to get it downtown and keep it downtown and put the pressure on the Japanese.
The restart. Yes, the clearing kick and the effect of that very strong breeze. Matsuda.
And that's all really Matsuda could do. No opportunity to counter-attack this early in the half. But this wind, playing into this wind, sometimes it can suit the team playing into the breeze, especially Japan, who are an attacking side, because you tend to run the ball more so than kicking it, and that could suit Japan.
And notice that Sakata is on the field for Japan with the hooker. So Amino is off the field. Play just 5 metres out of the Scottish 22.
Scrappy play by the Scottish in that line out.
And again indecision. The big fellow Taylor tries to take it outside. There's a turnover ball again. Parkinson, the little kick in behind the defence of Logan. But the ball is hurried over to the touchline on that far side.
Oh, he needed to have a go there, Ruben Parkinson. I think he knows that one-on-one, you can see he's frustrated. But the Scottish line out here, we see Simon Taylor. Great tackle. Okobu putting the pressure on.
Now, running into a strong breeze like this often makes handling a lot easier for the side running into it. It'll be interesting to see if Japan can get enough ball to try and capitalise on that. But they'll be consistently turned around by the right boot of Gordon Ross, no doubt, in these opening exchanges in the second half. Now, overconfidence by Scotland, trying to run it out of their 22. And again, we'll see a penalty go to Scotland. The Japanese side have come out full of fury in the second half and just probably overplaying their hand and over-enthusiastic in the opening minutes of the second half.
Stuart Dickinson saying the Japanese player penalised did not come in from directly behind where the other bodies on the ground were. He's actually come in from the side, which is an illegal play, and hence the penalty.
Yes, he must come in from behind the last feet. A very clear definition from Stuart Dickinson. He started refereeing while he was playing rugby at school. He used to play in the morning and referee in the afternoon, and he's turned into one of Australia's leading whistleblowers, and a great thrill for him to be refereeing at home in this Rugby World Cup. Now a good ball on the inside. That's opened up a channel. Drives again, busting upfield. In fact, it's the back rower, Jason White, a huge back row forward. Now Ross, and just overplaying it through the hands of Petrie, the Glaswegian, and the ball is into touch just short of the Japanese 22.
Just all about patience. They needed to keep their depth, hold their depth. They were eager to get their hands on the ball. A lovely inside ball. And Jason White downfield trying to take on Matsuda.
Well, their most experienced hooker, Sakata, is on the field. There's been doubts about his throwing skills, but on that occasion, Japan's most capped hooker finds his target. Hirose. High ball for Patterson. Took it well, returns with interest. And it's into touch on the fall. So the Irish touch judge, Alan Lewis, brings play back to just short of the halfway line.
Well, that would have been a great counter-attacking opportunity for Patterson to throw a long pass to Hinshelwood with some space. He had some space midfield.
Well, Japan's secured. Tsuji away for Hirose. Parkinson, he's looked impressive when he's had the ball right across the advantage line again, but he's turned it over. But a penalty goes to Japan, and that will give them a chance to really get inside or up towards the Scottish 22.
A moment ago we talked about the Japanese player coming in from behind. On that occasion we had Gordon Ross, beautiful tackle around the ankles, but John Petrie taking the easy route in from the side, not coming in from behind.
Now Hirose drives it right into the teeth of that breeze and takes it to about 10 metres short. Japan will retain the throw to the line out through Sakata. They've gone for the short line out option, and it's been won by Scotland. Just the sheer dominance of height there. And a chance now for Scotland to break out of their 22. An angling kick from Ross takes play up towards the Japanese 22. So a great touch finder from Ross.
Well, Gordon Ross, he knows which way the wind's blowing now, from his left to right. But Matsuda needs to read that a little bit better. He needs to anticipate Gordon Ross kicking to that side of the field. He needs to go there earlier.
Taken down by Kiso. Hirose angling it from inside his 22. And they're doing it tough to try and get back in Scottish territory at the moment.
I think what the Japanese team are doing, they just have to get to 50 to 60 metres out, and then they'll start attacking. They don't want to attack from behind their 22 just yet.
Secured well by Scotland. Look at the power in midfield. But again, some committed defence by the Japanese. Quick ball. Grimes drives it forward again for Scotland. Untidy ball at the back. Ball knocked backwards. Petrie and White have been combining very well. This whole Scottish back row looked very impressive. Now Redpath away for Ross. And leaving it behind that time was James McLaren. That's untidy play by Scotland, just as the pressure was building.
That was an easy ball right in the breadbasket from McLaren. He was coming on that full steam, but he's had a little bit of a look. He's been, for a big man, he's been cleaned up a few times. There, he's just had a little bit of a sneak of the opposition, but he's been hit a few times nice and hard and low by the Japanese defence. He's a little bit wary.
Sometimes that's the problem when you pick two.
15-6 here at Townsville. Well, the big Mexican wave going around the Dairy Farmers Stadium. Great atmosphere. It's a rugby carnival here in Rugby Mad Townsville. And it's been over half an hour since this Japanese try line has been crossed. Patterson scored in the 4th minute of the first half, Grimes in the 17th. And since then they've been kept tryless, which is a great testimony to this committed defence of Japan.
Redpart's got to talk to his players here. He's got to get his forward leader to pull them together and start. They're just playing along at Japan's speed. We're 8 minutes into the second half, and the Scottish are slowing down. They've got to start to pick it up again.
Now Redpath giving it away to Rossi through the dummy, and terrific defence by Hirose. Again, scrappy play by Scotland at the breakdown. They've secured it again. But this defence is rattling Scotland. But the penalty finally at the breakdown, the hands being used on the deck. And this will give Patterson a chance to look for the 3 points and punish the Japanese side for that indiscretion at the breakdown.
I think here what Gordon Ross is finding, that the two centres, Andy Craig and James McLaren, are straight up and down runners. So Gordon Ross is the one that really has to try and create something. And the direct runners, the two centres, but they cannot create something.
Well, the crowd are delighted that Scotland are going for touch of the line out.
What's also got to happen is when McLaren and Andy Craig are on the fly and really bashing it up in the centre, or they start using their big men in White and Grimes, they've got to have people off the back of them, off each shoulder, to be able to come through at pace and take the short ball. And they're not there at the moment.
Well, they've already set the defensive line out, Japan. They won't contest this one. They were very slow with their build-up, Scotland, to come to that line out. And they are totally committed to that defence. A real defensive line out by Japan and trying to drive and stop that rolling maul. And effectively they're doing it. This is brave stuff by Japan. Because they are against a very powerful and strong Scottish team. Logan stepping, weaving, driving towards the try line. The wave comes, the second wave. And they're trying to do it with brute strength. The crowd are loving this defensive effort by Japan, and they've turned over possession again. And a chance on the outside. The instant pitch is over. And it was Onizawa that came racing out of the 22. The crowd is really warming to this Japanese effort. And they have really weathered the storm. That is tremendous stuff by the Japanese team.
And that started with the guts with Onizawa. He's decided, I'm not going to take the soft option and go for the kick. I'm just going to run it. And there was 4 players there. I don't care. I'm going to run straight at the teeth of them. Great defence by Japan. They're throwing 2 and 3 tacklers in at any time. The big fella, the big Scottish second row has come in.
And it's starting to tell, because we're going to have Sonoda coming on in number 20. And also Andrew Miller, the fly half. So Hirose will go off. So too will Suchi. They have really performed well. And so Yuji Sonoda, the 30-year-old scrum half, playing in his 15th international. He played with Hirose back in the Japanese school sides many years ago. And of course Andrew Miller played with the Crusaders in 1998. The New Zealand board has served a 3-year qualification, and he's out there tonight with Japan.
No, he can't get it.
So not surprisingly, they've called for the replacements. Fresh legs. This has been a gutsy effort by Japan, but it's started to tell.
Well, they just need to keep the pressure up, the Japanese side, not slipping off any tackles at the moment. Andrew Miller coming on. He'll start directing play from number 10.
He will also take over the goal-kicking duties, of course.
Closely, you've got an opportunity. Come closer.
From Hirose.
No, it is crouch and hold.
Who kicked
Engage.
2 from 4. Now the Scots arrive at the breakdown. Grimes got the pass away. Now a chance to break out Scotland. And terrific defence again. And they nearly secured it. They have secured it. It's loose on the ground. And that's Shin Hasegawa.
There's no fullback for Scotland, but they turn the ball back over.
Oh, that's terrific stuff. And the crowd love it. That was a marvellous tackle. Even gets the acclamation from the bench. They will not lie down, the Japanese.
Little O'Hara, he's putting everything into that. The beauty you can see is that there's 4 and 5 Japanese in every time that there's a breakdown. Ball and all tackle. Rolls his opposite Logan into touch.
Now to the back of the line out they go, and Ito secures it well for Japan. One previous meeting, Scotland 49, Japan 7 at the 91 World Cup. Japan has won only one match. That was against Zimbabwe in the same competition in 91. But this performance has got to be one of the greatest they've put up in international rugby. Now Miller, wrapped up in the defence. They come again. Parkinson, Matsuda. Look at the commitment of the breakdown.
No hands, no hands.
Now Miller again. Motoki. Miller loses it. Stayed on his feet. Drove it forward. 10 metres inside Scottish territory. Now that player has been isolated. Good work though by the new halfback in Sanoda.
Plenty of numbers on the right-hand side if they choose to go that way.
They are taking this game to Scotland. The little kick through. And that's come off a Scottish player. So that will be a throw to the line out by Japan. And they are deep inside the Scottish 22.
All the good work done, all the build-up. Great phase work by Japan, all let down by Sonoda taking the soft option of trying to put the kick through. The Japanese need to keep the ball in hand. They keep doing what they're doing best at the moment. Just keep running it at the Scottish and then crack them and find the hole.
This ground will erupt if Japan could score a try. I remember Kalahara scored 2 great ones against New Zealand. Here's a chance. Wonderful play. Onizawa scores a superb try. What a try by Japan. Superb.
Referee Stuart Dickinson still wants to hear.
What are your thoughts, Tim? It looked all right from here.
It looked all right. I'm not sure whether he's actually looking to see whether it was a decoy runner in the backline move or not, or whether it was the placement of the ball over the try line.
I thought it was pure overlap, but let's have a look at this. Try.
Absolutely nothing wrong with the grounding of that ball. Fantastic work by the Japanese. They've got the wind in their sails now.
Thank you. We're right to do it now.
This will bring a great cheer. I was about to say, when Kalahara scored 2 tries against Japan during the 95 World Cup, where they suffered their biggest defeat of 145-17, the crowd in South Africa, they rose as one on the 2 occasions the flanker scored. And I could just sense that try was coming. And in the end, it was great execution, terrific finishing. This young fellow knows how to score tries. It's his 9th try and his 13th international. And so 13 proving not unlucky for the flyer from Suntory.
Lovely work by Andrew Miller. He's come onto the field. He's made a couple of breaks already, looping around the inside centre and throwing a ball behind their number 13. Wasn't pulled up as a decoy runner, which gave the extra man out wide. And Japanese have got a big sniff of this game now.
This could bring them to within 2 points of the much-vaunted Scots, who started this game like a cracker against this Japanese team, but haven't gone on with it. Unfortunately, he's pulled it left. So it's 15-11, but Japan are right in this Pool B match.
From Andrew Miller. The score, Scotland 15, Japan 11. Replacement for Scotland.
Yeah, the elation there for the Japanese winger. So Martin Leslie has come on as a replacement. The son of Andy Leslie, who captained the All Blacks in 10 Test matches. And he's replaced John Petrie, the Glaswegian. Now Parkinson in trouble inside his own 22. Very important few minutes now for Japan. Not to make an error, not to throw away a penalty, and just be composed here and play the percentage game for the next 5 or 6 minutes. And that's angled away for Patterson. Will we see the counter-attack? Hinselwood. Good defence again by Japan. No penalties to be conceded here. Redpath, they must defend for all their life. And that's terrific defence. That pass has gone forward. Towed through, the referee said play on. Logan, try to Scotland. Kenny Logan scores his 14th try. They've gone to the television match official.
Well, I think what happened there, the Japanese player put his hand up and knocked the Scottish pass down onto Kenny Logan's foot.
Make sure it's been grounded.
And Kenny Logan's had the right idea to keep towing it ahead. I think the referee Dickinson is just looking at the grounding of the ball.
It looked fine from here. He seemed to slide over the try line. No, he could well have knocked it on. I think there is a little knock on.
To me, it looked like he actually knocked it on just as he was going to ground him.
Right there.
Just there.
No try.
And momentum, he's grabbed it as he's sliding across.
No try. There's the knock on right there.
Oh, that's great vision.
This try will be denied by Scotland. They are back to attempt the conversion. Logan's pretty confident he scored the try, but I think this will go against the Scottish side. To me, there is a knock on there, and he drags it forward. Tim?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a try, but great footwork by Kenny Logan to get that far.
Japan have made 6 line breaks to Scotland's 4. That's a telling statistic, and most of that has been done in midfield by Ruben Parkinson. But the whole ground here is waiting. The match official is Donald Courtney of Ireland.
Will they be looking at saying that it actually didn't hit his hand? That it's come up and slid up the inside of the arm? But Kenny Logan, 65 caps for Scotland.
Okay.
One of the most experienced backs.
Okay, no problem. We're right to deal with that now.
Lost forward, and the crowd like it.
And that's why we've got the video referees in this competition. Very, very important to have the video referees. Japan still very much in this match.
Well, that could have really broken their heart. And unlucky for Scotland, Kenny Logan did everything he could, keeping it on the deck. He nearly had a soccer scholarship with Dundee United as a goalkeeper before he turned his attention to rugby. Now, as we're saying, this is where they must be composed, Japan. They've had a stroke of luck there, and now they've marched it another 10 metres up. But you can see Scotland must crank this game up right now.
This is where the big match experience of Scotland will come to the fore.
And the size and physicality of their forward pack. Get ready, Japan, as they take this defensive line out again. Flying high was the number 4, Scott Murray. They're keeping it up and rolling it. But Japan are doing extremely well, but can they hold it up?
Most important for the Scottish to keep a good platform at the front. Japan working very well, twisted them around and made them go to the ground.
Now it's ruck ball.
Balls out, play on, play on.
Now he must release. This is a real test of this Japanese defence. Redpath darting, taken by Sonoda. Gee, there'll be some sore bodies out there. And they've got the reward, Japan. Redpath penalised for not releasing.
Isn't that tremendous? That's just blood and gut stuff from the Japanese. They're not worrying about skill. They're just putting their bodies on the line and throwing everything at it.
You can see Brian Redpath, he's getting frustrated. But if I was Gordon Ross and the Scottish backs, I'd be frustrated as well. They need to be given an opportunity one-on-one against the Japanese back line, and they're not getting much ball tonight.
It's just hard to believe that just with 20 minutes to go, that there's only 4 points the difference, because Scotland got out of the blocks very well. They look so impressive that this has been a courageous performance by Japan.
And haven't the Japanese done well in the line-out where they were expected to get absolutely romped?
I'll tell you what, the Fijian side would be quite interested in having a look at Scotland on this performance after their loss to France, and that's unfortunate. Now, this is just a sort of mistake made by Japan where Scotland, if they're on song, can really punish them now.
Well, it was the right idea. Spreading the ball wide, just the execution let them down. They got to second, third phase, and that's when you're stretching the Scottish defence. You see the Scottish defence drifting, and there was some numbers there.
We spoke earlier about there being a nice night, and it shouldn't be affecting the Scottish, but do you think that even the way the temperature is now, that it could be having an effect? Because their forwards are very sluggish. Here they have a short arm penalty and taking a quick feed.
Now Taylor, and again, look at that copybook defence. This time they're quick into the breakdown. Oh, nearly knocked forward.
The Japanese team must stay onside.
Yes, they can ill afford to concede a penalty here, and they must defend like their life depends on it, and they have once against Scotland, not releasing at the breakdown. And they have been penalised, and this just gives Japan that time at their sleeve, time to compose themselves, time to get the ball back towards Scottish territory. They're running into a very strong breeze in the second half, and that's all more to their credit, the way they have defended so valiantly. And tactically, Scotland have not used this breeze to any great effect in the second half.
Andrew Miller, the number 21 for Japan. He'll want to keep running the ball now. He'll want to play the attacking players. He's got some speed outside of him.
And they've won another good line out, Miller. Oh, that's a high tackle. And again, Japan's through Sonoda. Now a chance for Scotland. It was Andy Craig, and a knock on, and nearly Dickinson turned away. He just turned back at the right time and caught it. But he would have got a hint from Alan Lewis on this touchline anyway.
Well, Scotland, they just don't look like they've got much of an idea. In the first 10 or 15 minutes of this match, they look very sharp. I'm not sure they've been lying on the beach up there in Caloundra too much.
Now Ito got to the advantage line and beyond. This has just been terrific stuff by Japan. Now Miller. And they are taking them on through Matsuda.
Good tackle, Robbie Russell.
Now Patterson secured it for Scotland, but they're under pressure, the Scottish team. Now, that's a poor pass. Now a chance. Good bust upfield by McLaren. Now he's walking towards the touchline, or working towards the touchline. Now Japan must stay on side here. Redpath away for Ross. Charged down by the big lock, Adam Parker. A put into Scotland going forward.
Oh, how lucky was Scotland there?
Gee,
it could have gone either way.
They didn't look that quick going back for the ball, those two forwards, did they? There's some tired forwards out there now in the field. Gordon Ross trying to get the ball down in the Japanese half. There'll be some pressure put through here on Gordon Ross now too if he's going to make a clearing kick.
But having the Japanese across the board lifted their game from their scrum, their tackling has been superb. Around the paddock they're starting their ball retention. They're really starting to pick it up right across the field.
Into the final 15 minutes. It's now been 48 minutes since this Japanese try line has been crossed.
That's a lovely kick. Brian Redpath taking it upon himself to get the Scottish out of trouble. Experience shows.
Yeah, Redpath realising if I can't get the others to do it, I'm just going to have to do it myself. There's not much to him, the Scottish captain, but what it is all heart.
Ball about to be thrown into the line-out. Time ticking away on the clock. Sakata, the hooker, about to throw it in. And you see the captain coming across there, Mayuchi, talking to the little halfback, Sonoda. This is a vital line-out. There's been a replacement with Gregor Townsend coming on in the fly half position, the experienced player for Scotland.
Easy.
Oh, that's a costly call.
What would you like?
The Japanese throw the line out.
Scrum.
Now Scotland on attack.
Also a replacement of Ross Beattie for Scott Murray in the second row for Scotland. Great scrum by Japan.
Now Taylor goes short side. Chance. Patterson scores his second. And that's probably the ball game. A freakish bounce. It came from a poor throw to the line out from Japan. And Scotland have punished them.
From a poor scrum by Scotland, they recouped brilliantly. Simon Taylor taking it down the blind side, one big arm out trying to fend off, put an inside ball. They should have gone low on him, but they didn't. Beautiful ball on the inside. Okobe juggled to try and take the inner step. Unfortunately, Patterson there as well. He picked up the crumbs, ran away and scores.
And you can see the elation. That is the ball game for Scotland.
Lovely work, Simon Taylor. This player here, the number 8, Simon Taylor. He'll be the British Lions number 8 in a few years' time when they tour. And Patterson gets the bounce and scores his second try tonight. Scotland have been very lucky, but there's still time left.
So 12 tries in Test rugby for Chris Patterson, and that was a real timely one, I can tell you. And he's hooked it around. So it's 20 points to 11 in favour of Scotland.
Number 14, Chris Patterson, unsuccessful. The score, Scotland 20, Japan 11.
So the finishing stages to that try by Patterson. Well, I can tell you the 19,170 that have turned up here at the stadium tonight have had their money's worth. And this is not all over yet because this Japanese side will want to come back. Taylor again. This has been a terrific effort by Japan. Now Gregor Townsend, fresh legs on for Scotland. Redpath. And that all probably came, Dan, from that tremendous touch finder from Brian Redpath. He had enough of playing down his end of the ground. And then a poor throw to the line out, a crooked throw, and the punishment.
He realised that they have to play it down in the opposition 22.
Easy, 12.
Japan have got to make sure that they don't drop their game now. They're still within it, and what they would like to be able to do is to score 2 points, 3 points, so that they can get within the 7 and get a bonus and get the bonus point.
So the touch finder towards that far side, and it takes play midway between the half of the 22 at Japan's end of the ground. Gordon Ross, the fly half that plays with Leeds, made his debut against Tonga back in 2001, and he scored 23 points on debut. He hasn't been called on to kick tonight. Patterson's had 3 misses from his 6 attempts. And for that reason, Scotland haven't kicked clear.
Now look for Gregor Townsend. He'll want to get the ball wide after this next couple of phases.
That's the 22-metre line as Scotland charge forward. This is a real test again for this Japanese defence.
Turn over to Japan.
It's a Japanese ball. Miller. Logan. Quick restart. Now Hinselwood. That's been kicked deep. Oh, poor bounce. And tidied up. So the referee has ruled that it came off the Japanese player that came in cover. And so a 5-metre scrum, the ball carried over the try line.
Will we see Simon Taylor yet again take it off the back?
Oh, gee, you can't catch the ball with your feet, can you? You need to use your hands. And even though Dan Crowley, you tried occasionally.
But my hands weren't that good.
Redpath, Townsend held the pass up beautifully. McLaren caught in the tackle.
Stay on your feet, please.
Well, again, fundamental errors costing Scotland.
When you're ready, mate.
And Miller looking to try and play on quickly. And McLaren is down injured.
Well, they need to vary their play, Scotland. Andy Craig and McLaren have been very solid straight up and down. But you can't do that all night. You have to try and create second and third phase play or get one-on-one opportunities off those set pieces.
Keep working, keep working.
So this battle-weary Japanese team hanging on for grim death. Their line-out has been impressive tonight. Now Miller, they again moving it wide. Ito, the number 8, caught in midfield just inside his own 22. Miller onto the right foot, off the side of the right foot. And so an attacking line out now for Scotland.
Well, on the 22-metre raids, attacking out of the... Scotland have had 9 and Japan only 5. But there's still time left. 9 minutes to go in this game for the Japanese to score 9 points.
So Matsuda's left the field. The fullback for Japan has had a stirring game tonight. And he's been replaced by Toru Kurihara, the winger for Suntory that's playing in the custodian role at the moment. This fellow has been impressive.
Oh, nice ball back inside.
Ruben Parkinson played formerly with Otago in the NPC. Now, turnover again by Scotland. Now Miller.
He's been impressive since he's come on.
He just brushed Andy Craig away as if he wasn't there. Now Patoki.
And this is how the Japanese club sides play. Tap and go. Keep the ball moving. Use your fast players out wide.
No hands to the tackler. Back you go.
Come on, Ross, get back. Get back.
So into the final 10 minutes and Miller's caught in midfield. Turnover ball. Scotland have got it. Now Townsend. Pass for Logan and he spilled his goal. No advantage though. Play will come back. Scotland will get the feed to the scrum.
Japan lucky there. They were all away. There was 3-0.
Blue 3 sub, your ball.
Scotland had an open line. And Logan coughs it up.
Blue 3 sub.
Now I just wonder whether this great defence of Scotland will force an attempted drop goal by Grigor Townsend to try and really wrap this game up. He's kicked 7 drop goals in his career.
Time back on, just crash.
Another replacement of the Scottish team. Taylor goes forward. Now McLaren. Now Townsend out for Logan. And again rushed over the touchline. So it's 20 points to 11 at the 74-minute mark. Line out on the 22. 9 points the difference. And you would think, Tim, it would be justice if more points could be scored and at least Japan get a bonus point out of this for staying within 7. They've deserved it.
They have deserved it. And you can see by the tackle count, the Japanese side well up over 100. But they've played some sterling rugby tonight. But they just need, there's still plenty of time left for the Japanese side. And still, I've seen plenty of Japanese club rugby over the last couple of years. And they can attack from anywhere. They just need some room to move.
They've put a warning up to all the others in their pool that they're not going to be an easy beat.
Now Townsend sends it wide to McLaren, to Hinselwood, and again a terrific tackle by Parkinson. He would be close to being the man of the match out there tonight. He's been absolutely fantastic in this Japanese side in both attack and defence. Now they drive it over the quarter line. And again, playing with the confidence, a little kick and chase. Taylor went back, nowhere to go, but he goes forward. He only knows one way. Found the support. Again, the defence is there by Japan. The ball has come out for Redpath. It goes to Patterson. Away, finally for Townsend. The pass over the top. And a chance. Grimes got it back in for Logan. And again, that wonderful cover by Japan. Patterson, nowhere to go. Claimed by the big lock in Kiso. Through the dummy. Townsend caught. There's the goal line. You can see the corner post. Only 5 metres out. They spread it wide. McLaren. A chance for Taylor. Too much power. Too much strength. Try time Scotland.
The Scottish kept pounding and pounding. That's the way they started the game. They kept the ball in hand and just kept going at the Japanese and going at them and going at them. And a fitting try for the big number 8, Simon Taylor. He's been outstanding tonight.
Simon Taylor.
A great young athlete, tall, fantastic fend off the back. He's been making some damaging runs, agile and athletic. It was simple play. It was the 2002-2003 Player of the Year. He didn't have to do too much work, but just desserts.
And we see Brian Redpath slotting in at number 10, realising there was room wide. And you can see the Japanese players running across field, struggling. A nice ball by McLaren. And as a good number 8 does, Waite centre field, and Simon Taylor tucked the ball under his right arm with the try line 7 or 8 metres away. Pretty impressive game by Taylor, and he's going to be a force to reckon with in this Scotland side.
Superb athlete, this young fellow, as Dan mentioned. Won the Scottish Player of the Year this year, the season that's just been completed. And finally, the Scots realise this game is safe. But it's been one hell of a battle against a very committed, a very courageous Japanese team. The kick is wide. It's 25-11 in favour of Scotland.
Conversion attempt by number 14, Chris Patterson, unsuccessful. The score, Scotland 25, Japan 11. Scotland has scored 4 tries and therefore is awarded 1 bonus point.
So the importance of that Taylor try is a bonus point for scoring 4. Knocked forward by Japan for the restart. And the fairy tale that could well have been has come to an end for Japan, but they will claim this as one of their proudest moments in their rugby history.
That was an absolute cracker of a kick by Gregor Townsend. He hit that sweet and with the wind.
Well, it's important for Japan here to keep their momentum going. They don't want the scoreboard to blow out. Still 4 minutes left in the match. They need to attack.
Ball spilled forward. And so they'll take the scrum. The ball not thrown in straight. So time ticking away in the second half. It's been a cracker of a game here in Pool B. And the local fans here in Townsville will remember their first ever international, because it's really lived up and beyond the expectations of this match. Japan, with the influence of the Australians in Mark Ella and Mark Bell. And we can't discount the words of enthusiasm for that former Olympic swim coach and former Wallaby Laurie Lawrence. Anytime he's involved, Dan, usually something comes of it.
Usually the Japanese don't need any more enthusing, but Laurie will be out there and giving them it in spades.
Important for Scotland here. They've scored 3 tries. They'll be looking for their 4th try. And if they could get out of this game with a bonus point and 5 points, it would be pretty special for the night.
Well, they've actually got their 4th try. That try by Taylor was their bonus point try. Patterson scored 2, Grimes has scored 1, and Taylor. So that is firmly in their keeping at the moment. So they'll go out of the game with the 5 points to open their campaign and draw level with France, who scored the bonus point against Fiji at the Suncorp Stadium just last night. Now Miller, they are going to try and run it again. Parkinson takes on the defence and beats one. Unloaded it. Play to the 22 and they're manhandled in midfield. And Scotland have gone up a cog since that try by the number 8. Miller turns the defence around, a good touch finder into the breeze, into the teeth of that breeze. So we've seen two terrific strikes, one by Grigor Townsend, this one by the Japanese fly half.
Scottish coach Ian McGeechan, he'd be breathing a sigh of relief right now that they've actually been able to skip away, get the bonus point. But he won't be happy with the way that the Scottish have played. As mentioned before by Tim Horan, they've been very one-dimensional in what they were doing, just smashing the ball up, very limited in back play, very limited in their moves in their back play, and their forwards, other than their back row, especially in Taylor, have been a bit sluggish around the park tonight, but maybe that's just getting the cobwebs out of the way.
Now Japan come up with the ball for the line-out win, just picking up the scraps at the back of that line-out. Goes out to Miller. Look at that defence come up from Scotland. Carter takes them on in midfield. They come left-hand side. And one of the rare mistakes by Parkinson. And now the new player, Daniele, toes it forward, picks it up and scores within a minute of coming on as a substitute. No, it's been disallowed. Or hasn't, no, they've gone to the television match official. Daniele, a bit of concern about the grounding. Couldn't see too much wrong from here.
Dickinson was right there with him. He was up within metres of that.
We thought Logan's try was okay until we saw the replay. Let's look at this.
No, he's has he let go of the ball before he's gone and hit the line?
Well, he's only going to force him to the upper torso.
19,170.
He's dragged across. We need another angle on this one, surely.
I was actually out there with
as he's hit the ground, the ball has started to come out and roll under his body.
If he grounds it with the upper torso. This is going to be a very tight decision. I think it will go against Scotland.
Geez, you've got to give it to O'Hara, though. That was a fantastic hit. Desperation stuff.
And turned him. No, that's no try.
To me, it looks like he's lost control before he's hit that line.
But if the referee or the television match official deems that the upper torso has forced the ball, as long as it hasn't gone forward here, Dan, because that happens before the grounding over the try line.
I don't know about anything else, but geez, his face hit the try line pretty well.
That doesn't count, unfortunately. See,
he'd have a mouthful of the dairy farmer's turf.
You could ask 8 out of everyone in the stadium. They all have a different opinion on this one. But maybe that upper torso might be enough. The Scots are looking at every replay on the big screen.
That was a good quick call by Dickinson. He was right on the money there.
He's had a great game. Now surely a decision's got to be made.
Yeah, exactly right.
Donald Courtney is the television match official from Ireland. He's had 14 looks at this. Decision time, Dan.
Well, rumour has it he's been up all night trying to fix his hotel room, and the other three that he's messed up by overflowing his bathroom since he's been here.
That is the rumour. Oh, this has gone on far too long. Grigor Townsend's ready to take the conversion. I think he's pretty confident to try. The Scots are back in their end of the ground. The Japanese have taken up their position under the goalposts.
Happy with that?
Here we go.
Want to go?
Try. Well, that's what he's deemed, I think, that the upper torso has grounded the ball. He lost it before the line. It didn't go forward. Momentum carried him over the line. So the try has been awarded. And Daniele scores his second try in Test rugby, and he's only been on the field for less than a minute.
Try to Scotland, scored by number 22, Simon Daniele.
The Japanese doing all the hard work. Unfortunately, Parkinson, a bad pass, but still takeable. It was seized on by Daniele. He's run through soccer schools, picked up the ball, good bounce. as said before, Harder put all his effort in to try and stop him, but at the end of the day, he did just enough to get across the line.
And Townsend adds the extras.
Conversion attempt by number 21, Gregor Townsend, successful.
So it looks like this scoreline is blown out. It probably won't really reflect the true effort by Japan. 32 points to 11. Time ticking away here, latter part of the second half. And another try here for Japan would be a great reward. But I can tell you that Ian McGeechan will breathe a sigh of relief. And I'm sure that Mac McCallion, the Fijian coach, will have a good look at this game tonight, because that will be a very crucial game when Scotland plays Fiji.
And some of these back rows from Scotland, if they think they can run hard and fast and take on the Fijians away, they're going to be in for a very sore and sorry night.
Well, the crowd have absolutely loved it. And they still haven't given up. They drive it forward again. Terrific performance by Japan here tonight.
The crowd will give this Japanese team a standing ovation when they come off this field.
And the Scottish side will go away very relieved. They've got the bonus point on top of a win, because at one stage it was looking very doubtful.
But they'll also be happy with it.
Tough hit out there.
Exactly.
In the end, 32 points to 11. Pool B, a bonus point for Scotland to open their account at Rugby World Cup 2003 in Townsville.
Scotland, 30.
Private